Hey there. I am going live this morning to do some sight reading. I thought this would be a fun thing to get into on live streaming for a few reasons. One is that, well, among pianists of my training and skill level, I perceive myself as not as great a sight reader as a lot of people I know. This came as a result growing up of not really committing myself to the process of learning to sight read better. I'm just adjusting my cameras a little bit here. I was shifting some equipment around, and anyways, that looks good. So what I was saying was that I didn't growing up really commit myself to sight reading well and getting better at sight reading. It's kind of an elusive art, the art of sight reading. Or maybe sight reading perhaps falls more into the just skill category with piano. Not as much of the art, although one can bring a great deal of artistry to sight reading, especially once you get better at the skill of it. It wasn't really until I got to college and I was asked for scholarships that I had to go into vocalists auditions. Say if a singer, a voice major, was auditioning to sing in one of the university choirs, they would prepare a song and bring it in to sing, to perform for their audition in front of all the important people in the choral department. And they're very nervous, and they come in, and here they've got this piano major who's been assigned to literally sight read the piano part that accompanies the singers. And the first time I did this, I think I bombed so many singers' auditions and felt so horrible afterwards that I thought, well, hey, if I'm going to be a professional musician, I've really got to learn this skill. I was very, very fortunate at Western Michigan University to have some wonderful teachers, a accompaniment course that I was required to take, and sight reading was a huge part of that. So I was forced to learn to sight read well. And I learned all sorts of things about sight reading that I just didn't know before, that transformed it in my perspective on sight reading from sight reading being something that some people are just good at. Some people have a natural tendency to read well. They pick up on it quickly, and they're kind of naturals, to it being a specific skill set that I could learn to do and get better at with more practice, and I just hadn't known how to do that. So what I'm going to do today is do a little bit of sight reading. I haven't done too much sight reading recently, so I'm going to start with something pretty easy and fun. And what I'm going to do is sight read some Nintendo music. And this is a book labeled Easy Piano. Now, when you see sheet music labeled Easy Piano, that is a very wide range in the publishing industry of difficulty levels at the piano. This one I think is more in the upper level of what is often labeled as easy piano. Some of the arrangements are easier than others. Now, I may have to adjust my window here, but, well, there it is. You can kind of see that. Let's rearrange things here. So I'm hoping that I can get a good visual on what I'm sight reading for you. So yeah, this is a book published, Super Mario series for easy piano, published by Alfred. So on the replay, I'll post an Amazon link to this sheet music for anyone watching this who's interested in it. And I'm going to get into it. Unfortunately, I don't have a pedal page turner. And what I mean by that is there's these things out there where you can have a little foot pedal to turn the page. I'm going to have to actually reach up and click the mouse to turn the page. I'll hopefully fix that for future page turning needs. Alright, this level isn't quite right. Alright. So give me one moment, just going to adjust a couple settings here. That doesn't sound good. Okay, that sounds good. Alright, so I'm going to sight read the first one, and full disclosure, I do have a student learning this, so I have played through this one a couple times. So let's get into it, and I'll talk a little bit about sight reading as we go. By the way, I'm going to go probably for about 7-8 more minutes here this morning. Alright, here's a classic. Page turn. I think there may be another page. Oh yeah, this goes on. And there's a DSLF, but I'm not going to get into that. Let's see. I'm going to just adjust the camera settings here a little bit. This sheet music is very small on the screen. I'm sure you can't really read it so well. I'll work on getting something that looks a little better for next time, but hopefully this is a little bit better for now, and now we can see me from the side too. Cool. So if you know this song, so I was playing it pretty well for most of it. There were a couple spots. There's one spot on the second page where I hit a wrong note in the left hand, and I kept going. So that's an important part of good sight reading, is that when you play one wrong note, you just keep going. If you're in a situation where you're accompanying someone, say a singer or an instrumentalist, a general piece of good advice is if you really can't play all the notes in the moment, you definitely just keep it going, stay in time, make sure your ears are on the player so you can tell where they're at, keep your eyes on their part on your score, and if you have to cut notes, cut out the right hand so that they have that foundation in the left hand. There are some exceptions to that, but that's a generally really good rule. Keep the left hand going at all costs, and the tempo. And I did stumble a little bit on the last page here, and I just recovered as fast as I could and kept going. The key in sight reading is you're not practicing the piece. If something goes wrong in sight reading, you don't go back and try to fix it. You keep moving forward. So one video game image I use for this with my students is it's like that old, I think it was an Atari game called Space Invaders, where all the aliens are coming at you and you have to try to shoot them. And if you miss one, you're not wasting time going back and trying to shoot that alien that's already gone, right? You're focusing on the next one. So wrong notes fly by, doesn't matter. Couple key components to this. Non-judging. We judge ourselves all the time. This is going to be a recurring theme in my YouTube channel at large, both instructional videos as well as my live streams here, is there are times for self-criticism. Self-criticism is very important, but there's a type of self-criticism that is toxic and crippling. And playing a wrong note when you're sight reading, going, I'm bad in some way or another, oh darn it, I missed that note. It's very hard not to be judgmental of oneself, to be critical of oneself in that moment. And yet, that's the moment when I would encourage you, if you're sight reading, to rather than get caught up in that thought, because it will occur, it happens to me for sure, it will occur, but instead of getting caught up in it, observe that thought. I don't feel good about this. And then be okay with the fact that it doesn't feel good. And then move on to think about what's coming up next. What can I do well here that's coming up next? Very important thing in this is the joy of it. So we play music for a reason that those of us who have chosen to play music of our own free will have chosen to play music for some reason that here's a Marie Kondo word that sparks joy, and you want to refresh that spark of joy in your playing in all dimensions of your playing wherever you can. So what I do is I observe the negative thought, and then I become self-aware that that's a negative thought happening, and then I think about what is joyful that's coming up next. So instead of looking back, I'm looking forward and reconnecting with my original reason for being a musician, which is the joy of playing music. Never going to be perfect, but it really it's a kind of act of self-harm to believe, to give in to the negative thoughts and to believe that there's some kind of although the fact that they're based on playing wrong notes or not doing something as well as you want is true, the resultant reflection on I'm bad, I feel bad, if you believe that those feelings are justified, that you should feel bad about it, that's very, very harmful to your relationship with the piano and your relationship with music. And a lot of people are kind of in the process of recovering from a lot of negative self-talk at the piano, and it's really sad. Anyways, I've got to go in 2 minutes, so I'm just going to sight read a little bit more, and I'm going to try to look ahead and embrace the joy of playing this awesome music. It's underground. guess that's it. Next we have the underwater background music. Love it. Alright, let's do one more, Bowser's Castle. This is an easy piano version, so I think there's some, I think we normally hear, but this one just has, sounds really cool though. I'm gonna play a little lower. I guess that's it. Alright, last one. It's so cool. Oh, I love this book. So many cool arrangements. That's when you pick up the star. Alright guys, hope you've enjoyed this. Feel free to drop any questions you have in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next live stream or video. Hope you guys have a great day, and if you're a pianist, try out a little sight reading. Maybe take one thing from this video today and apply it as it applies to you.